The late model division at Stafford came off arguably its tightest championship battle in 2021. Michael Bennett claimed his second title in the division in a tiebreaker over Adam Gray. Bennett's 5 wins over Gray's 3 gave the 19 team the crown, and the Wellington native was ready to go for late model title number 3 to match Adam Gray. Even though Gray did all he could do in the season finale by winning, the 97 team had a lot of momentum heading into the new year. But half the field has a chance to compete every Friday night, not only for the wins, but for the grand prize, the championship. The question was, who could stay consistent in one of the more physical, brutal, hard-nosed divisions in New England racing? The action would begin on Spring Sizzler Day. The front row of the season opener contained 9 Stafford titles, 3-time champion Adam Gray on the pole, and 6-time champion Tom Fern alongside. On the get-go, the fender banging had begun, with Tom Fern looking for the lead, before he was suddenly looking at the infield.
Look at Fern, he's dirt tracking it sideways off turn number 4. How did he save that?
The season began with yellow fever, claiming several contenders. Jim Mavlajanis, Kevin Gambacorta, Andrew Moeller, Daryl Keene, and more. But the most notable incident by far took place on the 11th lap, when tempers flared amongst the leaders.
And Michael Bennett emerges out front.
Getting at it, top
and,
3 wreck in turn 1.
Spinning in turn 1, hitting at a ton to the outside of the racetrack.
With the top 3 eliminated, Tom Fern inherited the lead, but another contender stuck his nose into the fray.
And again, Fern out of shape off turn 4, and again he saves it, but here comes Michael Ray to the inside in car number 42. But another masterful save for Fern, who goes back to the inside.
Fern would fade in the final laps thanks to a slowly deflating right rear tire. Michael Ray would lead the final 11 laps. In spite of a charging Bennett, the DMW Graphics 42 had overcome the race's attrition to conquer the late model Spring Sizzler.
And we ran Tommy down. That's not easy to do around here. Had to rough him up a little. I feel a little bad about it, but we're going for the Sizzler, and I've wanted one of these things for a long time.
Kevin Gambacorta had a breakthrough in 2021, driving for Andy Marquise. The Ellington native scored 3 wins, the most in a season since he joined the late models. Gambacorta, with Gary Levine, would buy the car for 2022, bringing back the number 23. But the high hopes for the year turned sour on opening day. But with the aid of a rainout, Gambacorta had the car put back together in time for race 2. The 2 cars that crashed together on Spring Sizzler Day shared the front row for the season's opening Friday night. Andrew Moeller would lead the first 8 laps, but Gambacorta took command swiftly. To say that the Levine Law 23 pulled away is an understatement. Gambacorta would take the feature by well over a straightaway. The following week was more of the same. Gambacorta would start the 3rd race of the year back in 10th. Even though the 30-lap feature went caution-free, the 23 was on the move. By far the class of the field. Despite falling a few seconds behind the leader due to traffic, Gambacorta's car only got stronger, motoring by Tom Fern with 7 laps to go, making a statement, claiming back-to-back victories in decisive fashion. With the season entering June, Adam Gray's quest for a 4th late model title was off to a rocky start. Following the opening day kerfuffle, the Meadows Motor Cars 97 finished 7th and 6th in the next 2 features. But there's a reason why the Granby native is a 25-time late model winner. Gray would start race 4 outside on the front row, when pole sitter and rookie Chris Meyer ran into trouble in the first corner, giving Gray the lead. The top 2 finishers from the previous week were having their own little joust, ending with Kevin Gambacorta backwards in turn 2. The contact would send Tom Fern to the back. Daryl Keene and Michael Ray would go at it for several laps in their stubborn battle for second, allowing Gray to drive away with the victory on a night where his son Jacob won the big wheel race. And little did we know, this would be the start of a torrid stretch for Car 97. Gray's pursuit of back-to-back wins would start from 11th spot. On lap 6, he was already up to 3rd, and with 10 laps on the board, the most recent winner was back in command. A few cautions late in the event set up multiple restarts, but nobody was a match for the 97, as he would win again, claiming consecutive victories like Gambacorta. The 6th race of the season started with Paul LaRoute leading the first lap. Then it was Daryl Keene on lap 2. The 79 would gain a sizable advantage over a long run, but a caution on lap 22 erased his lead. The hottest driver in the division would capitalize on the ensuing restart.
Look at Adam Gray. You talk about muscles. He moves to the inside, flexes those muscles. Gray is looking to get into victory lane again. Bennett's car comes out of that second pack of cars, and all of a sudden Wayne Corey is there. Brand new leader emerges, 22 and counting.
Keene was able to stay in touch with his reverse-numbered counterpart, but Gray was too strong yet again. 3 wins in a row. Could anybody stop Team 97? It was Adam Gray versus the world, heading into the final race of June. Early in the feature, it was his longtime rival Tom Fern taking the lead from Paul LaRoute. The 82 was heading backwards before he suddenly was heading towards the third turn guardrail, ending his night early. 2 more contenders would go for a ride on the front stretch lawn. Andrew Moeller would continue for the rest of the race. Kevin Gambacorta would not be so fortunate, later cutting a tire after contact with Chris Meyer, sending the 23 hard into the concrete. Michael Bennett's third-place run was spoiled after contact on the following restart. Suddenly, Adam Gray had gone from 10th to 2nd and would fight Fern for the lead at halfway.
Here comes Adam Gray, the short way around to the bottom, and that's where his car has run best all night. They are side by side for the lead, halfway home, 15 down, 15 to go, and at the line, new leader, Adam Gray back to the front.
Adam Gray looking to add another victory. To his credit here at Stafford, he has been almost unstoppable. But here comes car number 42.
A complete sweep of the month of June. Adam Gray goes 4 in a row. This win would give the 97 a share of the points lead with Michael Ray heading into July.
This is pretty impressive. I don't think I've ever got this many in a row. And if it weren't for my crew, we wouldn't be here. Like I say, week in and week out, phenomenal job.
Looking for a remarkable 5th consecutive win, Adam Gray started the 8th race of the year in 10th again. Paul Verrecchio Jr.'s run on the front row didn't make it a half a lap before a flat tire would put him behind the wall. John Blake would lead the opening few laps. Andrew Moeller's attempt at the front was squashed after Michael Bennett's back end was pushed into the rear window after contact with Daryl Keene. Moeller would try again on lap 7. This time, the Lincoln Tech Life Care Family Chiropractic 31 was in control. Adam Gray would work his way up to 2nd, but by the time he got there, Moeller had cleared the field by multiple seconds. And with no yellows to bunch the field up, Gray's winning streak was over. The Shelton native would claim his first win of the year and his 2nd career late model victory, paying homage to America 3 days shy of its 246th birthday. Adam Gray's 2nd-place finish gave him a 6-point advantage over Michael Ray in the standings. Tom Fern sat 3rd, trailing by 20. The King Gray Coach Lines 92 is the all-time winningest late model driver, but over the last 2 seasons, the East Longmeadow native has seen victory lane once. That following a 5-year stretch where Fern claimed 40 wins. While the car has not been bad, the 6-time champion still needs a bit more when it comes to the car and when it comes to luck in order to return to championship form. Fern would start race 9 behind a couple of Pauls. Verrecchio and LaRoute led the way until the 5th lap when the 92 made his move to the front. Gray would find himself 2nd yet again in a race that went green the checker. Fern's dry spell lasted over a year, but came to an end on this night. earning his 75th career Stafford victory. Mid-July signified the halfway point of the year for the late models, with the two Pauls leading the pack once again. Wayne Corey Jr. would take the lead from Verrecchio on lap 3 before Kevin Gambacorta took over the reins on the 6th lap. Michael Ray and Ryan Fern played a multi-lap game of bumper cars that would ruin both their nights. Meanwhile, Gambacorta returned to top form, dominating the feature and taking the checkered flag by a straightaway. It's the 23 car's third win of the year, tying Gambacorta's career high. Adam Gray continued to pull away in the points, thanks to a streak of 7 consecutive top 2 finishes. The gap is now up to 22 over Tom Fern. Daryl Keene would be the class of the field in the first half of race 11, holding a big lead over Adam Gray. But as the laps winded down, something went wrong with car 79.
Went down into turn 1, I heard a clunk. And I come down the backstretch over the radio, I said, something broke. It ain't turning like it used to, and it just got worse. Believe it or not, we have a bolt, a collar welded on the top of our sway bar adjuster. The weld broke.
Keene was fading, allowing Gray to take control with 4 laps to go. 5 wins, 3 seconds over the last 8 races. Adam Gray is simply on another level. One driver that has turned it around over the last month is Enfield, Connecticut's Daryl Keene. The 79 has finished on the podium in the last 3 races. Despite a heartbreaking second-place run last week, the speed was there, and eventually, so would the luck. But for Michael Bennett, luck was still elusive. The season's 12th race lasted just 1 lap for car 19. Keene and Andrew Durand would go at it in an entertaining door-to-door battle for first. Keene would win out in the end. No mechanical issues or late yellows would jeopardize this run to victory. Keene was home free, breaking a 2-year-long drought to earn his 4th career Stafford win. The month of August would start with early trouble involving the point leader Adam Gray. The 97 suffered minimal damage and would bounce back for yet another second-place finish. Wayne Corey Jr. would pull to an early lead until Verrecchio's right front tire went flat, bringing out a caution. Tom Fern would roll past Corey on the outside following the restart, and the 92 would not look back, taking his 2nd win of the year. It's Fern's first multi-win season since 2019. We've seen it with Adam Gray. When a team has their car figured out, they can be very hard to beat. After last week's win, Tom Fern began to show the field that they had awakened the 92 car. With race number 14 underway, point leader Adam Gray found trouble again on the first lap. Despite nobody spinning out, the 97 lost a lot of ground in a race that would go green the checker. Gray would still recover to finish 5th. It took Fern less than 6 laps to go from 7th to the lead, and the 92 would set sail to win back-to-back features, giving the team 3 wins on the year. Tom Fern would avoid disaster on the 2nd lap of race 15, missing the brunt of a turn 1 incident involving Michael Bennett, Kevin Gambacorta, and Aiden Burrell. Andrew Durand would time the ensuing restart perfectly, making his way from 4th to 1st before exiting turn 2. Andrew Moeller would take the lead from Durand, while Fern found more trouble, flattening the right front tire and losing a lap after stopping to bring out the caution. Another yellow would put the 92 back on the lead lap, eventually resulting in a 4th place finish. Just past halfway, Adam Gray would get underneath Moeller, grab the lead, and grab the win. 6 victories on the year ties Gray's career high at Stafford. His point lead is now up to 28. With rain washing out a week, it was time for the late model's biggest event of the season, the Paradiso Insurance Late Model 50. A special 50-lap extra distance event with extra money on the line. Championship contenders Adam Gray and Tom Fern have had little luck in longer races, with neither driver claiming an extra distance win in their Stafford careers. Paul LaRue paced the field for a few laps. Wayne Corey Jr. briefly took command when he had to make a sensational save after contact with LaRue. That gave the lead to Michael Ray. Kevin Gambacorta then took his turn at the helm. All of this happened in the first 10 laps. After a couple cautions, Tom Fern would take advantage of the outside lane on the restart to clear Gambacorta and take the lead. Michael Bennett found himself second, and then he found himself in trouble.
The back bumper of Bennett, a little shot, and Bennett goes around right in front of the field. Michael Ray barely misses the 19.
Adam Gray was sent to the rear due to contact, but would rebound nicely at the end. Daryl Keene's night would end up in smoke before the feature's halfway point. Longtime veteran Turbo Tom Butler made his season debut and impressed, running top 5 for a significant portion of the race. But after Dwayne Knowles' stopped car brung out a yellow, Butler's run would come to a screeching halt.
Oh, look out! Tom Butler! Driver's side into the concrete.
Gray would work his way back to second, behind Fern. But once the 92 had the lead, he held it the rest of the way, giving Fern 3 wins in the last 4 races, and his first extra distance feature win at Stafford. Tom Fern's recent hot streak has kept him in touch with Adam Gray in the standings. The gap stood at 26 points with 3 races to go. Gray would start the 17th race of the year in 10th. Fern started 11th, pinning them in the middle of the storm on the race's second lap.
Berrecchio is sideways and out of shape in front of the field in turn 1.
And they're all gonna pile in, several of them. And Tom Fern's got an issue. His car is sparking badly down the backstretch. He might have an issue in the right rear.
There's a tire carcass that rolled to the infield, and there it is on the big screen off of turn number 2.
Fern's night would end in a dismal 19th place finish. Gray somehow avoided disaster, progressing towards the front. Issues with his brakes, however, would make his pursuit forward just a little more difficult. Up front, Andrew Duran had run a partial schedule this season. The Payless Autoglass 43 could lead early in the feature, but would soon fade afterwards. Tonight was not the case. Durant stayed out in front, but faced mounting pressure from the championship leader. The laps were winding down. Durant had to hold off an imperfect 97 car if he wanted to earn his first career late model win.
One more chance for Gray to get to the back bumper of Durant. He can't do it. The checkered flag is out. Win number 1 in his career in the late models for Andrew Durant. He has done it at Stafford.
Oh, it means a lot. My dad's friend, they've been fighting it for probably 20 years now to get a late model win out here. And this is our first time in 25 years, so excited.
Adam Gray's point lead had ballooned to 52 points over Kevin Gambacorta following Tom Fern's DNF the week before. If Gray finished within 1 position of Gambacorta and relatively close to Fern in the season's second-to-last race, the Granby native would become a 4-time late model champion. After a week off, the race was on. Michael Bennett would take the top spot early. The feature's first caution would come out for Gambacorta. Fern would work his way from 11th to 2nd by halfway. After a Tom Butler spin, Fern edged out ahead of Bennett on the restart when Gambacorta's night would come to an end after contact with the wall. The 92 would hold off Wayne Corey Jr. in the final laps to claim its 4th win in the last 6 races, his 5th victory of 2022, and his 79th career Stafford checkered flag. Adam Gray would finish 3rd, which was enough to clinch the title. Adam Gray became a 4-time late model champion, the 2nd most titles by a driver in the late model division at Stafford. With the title decided, Napa Championship night was all about bragging rights. Who would end the season with the most momentum heading into the winter? The season finale started with fireworks after contact between the top 3 cars sent the field into a frenzy.
Oh, they get together off turn 2. They stack up behind them. Somehow they keep, no, Duran gets turned up in front of the field. Adam Gray, the champion, is involved. Daybreak climbed up the right rear of Adam Gray's car.
Adam Gray would end his championship season with a disappointing 10th place finish. Kevin Gambacorta would find trouble a few laps later in a multi-car wreck that ended with PJ Zarella plowing into Andrew Moller's car. Michael Bennett would hold the lead until a debris caution brought the field back together. Daryl Keene would get the jump on the restart to take control. Following another yellow, Bennett's promising run would peel apart in an instant.
Flew under that 61 entry, and now Bennett and Ray get together, and Bennett goes for a wild ride up the back straightaway along with Michael Ray, who got all 4 tires off the ground.
Bennett climbed through the top of the car. He was okay. Michael Ray would continue on, despite all 4 tires leaving the ground. With the season reaching its final laps, Wayne Corey Jr. in the Wayne's Auto Body 10 machine finds his way inside of Keene.
Here comes Wayne Corey Jr. to the inside of Daryl Keene for the race lead. How about Wayne Corey Sr. there in the 4th spot, 1 spot off the podium. Tom Fern wants to play at the front of the field. Top 3 knotted up off turn 2.
Wayne Corey Jr. to the front.
After struggling for most of the year, Corey ends the season with 3 straight podiums, including a win on Napa Championship night.
Took a while to get this car right, to get me used to the car, and we just kept digging as a team. Pat, Gary, they just worked on this thing every week, week in, week out. We never gave up.
Despite a rough feature, Adam Gray celebrated with his family and the entire 97 team, overcoming a tough start to the year, going on a summer reign of terror, capped off with title number 4.
My crew, without these guys, we would not be here. This thing was badass fast all year. It sucks. We had a car that was quick tonight, and we got caught up there in 3 and 4, and it whacked the toe out.
Gray would end the year with 6 wins, 15 top 5s, and 18 top 10s, the most in the division. Tom Fern's hot streak at the end of the year gave the 92 team its best performance since their last title in 2019, ending the season with 5 victories and 2nd in the standings. Kevin Gambacorta finished the year 3rd in points, despite 3 DNFs, tying his career high with 3 wins on the year. Daryl Keene had his best year yet at Stafford, finishing 4th in points after a summer stretch of consistency, which included his 1 win. Michael Ray started the year off in victory lane on Spring Sizzler Day and finished the season with a 5th place result in the standings. With several drivers stepping up in competition this year, the battle for the 2023 title will be up for grabs, as we will soon find out who will get hot, who will stay consistent, who will avoid trouble, and put it all together en route to the 2023 Stafford Late Model Championship.